Alright, I got the GTX 1070 put into the test bench with the X3470 Xeon processor. So we're going to run some benchmarks and stuff. Let's go ahead and get CPU Z up and core temp. Alright, you can see X3470 is running, instead of 2.93, it is running at 4 gigahertz. So 200 times 20. And then let's look at core temps. So right now floating around 35, 33, 34, depending on which core we're looking at. So guess I'll run Prime 95 first. Sorry guys, I'm tired. Alright, so Prime's running. Slip that over here out of the way. And let's run pass mark. So we can run them at the same time without choking it out. And there we go. Let's run benchmark. And see, we're at 100% load, all cores. And we're hitting about 65, 66. Then we got one maxed out. It hit about 68 already. Here, we'll keep an eye on that. Let me zoom back in here. Alright. So running Prime and pass mark at the same time. Which really isn't fair to the system. Remember that CPU came out what, 2010, I think, 2009, 2010. I'd have to look it up, but to be running at 4 gigahertz, it's running 1.1 gigahertz faster than it's supposed to, so I'm pleased with it. We had 64, 66. Two of the cores did max out there at 71. And then another at 71 at 65. Everything's still 100%. Alright, this time let's throw some Cinebench at it. In 65, 66 Celsius, 100% load across the board. 632, a little slower than I ran the 637 when it was just a little over 4 gigahertz. So let's also run our OpenGL test since we have the GTX 1070 in here. Yeah, we're only pulling about 17-20% load on these cores. That's odd. The second core was hitting about 40%, so I'll run that again. So we hit 99.89 frames per second. Let's see, why don't we do 3D Mark? We'll run Fire Strike. It's running pretty smooth. I mean, I know the GTX 1070 can kill this benchmark, but with that CPU, I didn't expect it to run that smooth, to be honest. Second round will give us some frames per second. Also show us if we have any drop frames and stuff. So I gotta tell you, for a cheap motherboard and cheap eBay processor, throw you a decent graphics card in it, man. I've seen some 970s, and I mean, you probably could even get some decent performance out of a 1050 Ti. What are they, like $120 now? Seen the 970 going about 130, 140 on eBay, I think, and if you watch Craigslist, you can probably find one cheaper. I actually saw, and it was gone by the time I called, but I saw a guy selling a 1080, not a Ti, but just regular 1080, for $160, about 75 miles from where I live. But if I could have got it for that, I would have. I'd have drove down. I'm sorry, I said a 1080. I meant a 980. All right, round two. $80, $90, $82, $95, $97, $99, $100. I don't know if you guys can see frames. Let me see if we can zoom in here. Yeah, I think you can see the frames per second down there. Right now it's floating around 90. Drop down to 70, 72, 75, 84, 59, 78. And very respectable. I mean, that's more than I expected. Now we're dipping into the 20s now. All right. Overall score 13,734. And let's see. Let me see, it was a GTX 1070. Graphics test 1, we pulled 89.36 frames per second, 74 on test 2. Physics test, we did a 31.58, and the combined test 26.34. So, see, GPU load. Yeah, it was pretty well maxed out, the GPU the whole way through. So, except on the physics test, of course. Those are our CPU temperatures during the process. Let's see. Go back. So yeah, CPU. I mean, it bumped up to above 60 a couple times, but not much. Physics tested, CPU pegged out 66, 68, so it's that's well within anything under 80, 90. I'm not worried about it at all. So there you go. 4 gigahertz. That's an overclocked Xeon 3470. Which oddly, if you see in core temp now, it is reading wrong. Let's see. It's actually reading it as a 3450, but then if you look below, you'll see the CPU Z is recognized as a 3470. So I don't know why the discrepancy there, but we are at 4 gigahertz, so 199, well, basically 200 times 20 multiplier at 4 gigahertz. Guys, that's a cheap way to build a fun little system. Find you a used graphics card to throw in on this thing, and man, for what? You probably get that motherboard for $40 on eBay, I would imagine. Like I say, I came in a used system from a thrift shop for me, so I didn't give it $10 for that system, and it had 3 hard drives and a different CPU in it and some RAM. But I did take that RAM out. Actually put that in my dad's system. He needed a little upgrade, so but I picked up this other 8 gigs of that G skill and put it in here. That ran me, I want to say $38 I think I paid for it. So yeah, $20 cooler. You probably spend $40-50 on a decent power supply. You don't have to go crazy, I guess, unless you're getting some hog of a powered graphics card, but you play pretty much anything you want to, so if you don't expect to go over 1080p. But yeah, there you go, guys. And if you want to see anything else, let me know.